All right, welcome everybody to another edition of the Snapsight Spotlights. And Vamshi and I are very, very excited to have a very special guest today. Today with us is Tom Hood. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Sina. How are you? And good to be
I'm
with you, Vamshi.
perfect. Yes. Tom is a heavy user of Snapsight, and we are, of course, very curious how he uses the tool to tell us all more about it and all the possibilities that there are that we might not know yet. So, to kick things off, Tom, do you maybe want to quickly introduce yourself and the organization that you're working for?
Glad to. Yes. So, my name's Tom Hood. I'm a CPA and CGMA, and I'm the Executive Vice President of Business Engagement and Growth for the AICPA and CIMA. We're the largest global association of certified professional accountants in the world. And we're obviously running lots of programs. Associations are in the content business, and then that's how we ran into Vamshi and Snapsight from a friend of mine, Reggie Henry, who's at the ASAE, the Association of Associations, if you will. So good to be here.
Perfect. Nice. And where are you joining us from, Tom?
I am right now in our headquarters here in New York City, so right just
Oh, nice.
south of Central Park.
Super nice. And everybody else, we saw that Jill was joining us from Texas. Let us know where you are tuning in from. We always like to have this idea of where everybody is watching us. I'm in Barcelona. Vamshi is in Asia. Tom is in New York. I mean, this is fantastic. We are literally
Really
connecting the
global.
entire world. This is super nice. So welcome everybody. So Tom, so you learned about Snapsight a couple of months ago, and for which event did you use it first? Because I heard it was not a big event, but it was more like a smaller meeting, right?
Correct. It was so we have a group we call the Future of Finance Leadership Advisory Group, which is a
Okay.
group of maybe 50 global CFOs in major corporations. And we've been ever since the pandemic, we meet with them pretty frequently, virtually as well as in person. And we're always trying to figure out how to capture the wisdom of the crowd. Because with a group like that, there's some really, really smart people, and we're trying to get their insights to help us reimagine and re-envision the future of finance as we were coming out of the pandemic. And then now it's doing it in the age of AI, right? So it's lots of
Yeah.
changes happening in our profession. So we were looking at a in-person meeting that we had in our headquarters offices down in Raleigh, Durham, and we were going to have about 25 people there plus virtual. So we had some 20 in person and another maybe 10 online. And that's when I heard about Snapsight from my buddy Reggie Henry. And Vamshi and I met with our team and we said, how could we capture the wisdom of this group? We're going to spend 2 days intense going over things, and we really want to like capture
Yeah.
all the nuances, right? And
Yeah.
it's virtual and in person. How do you do that? And then that's when Vamshi and the team plugged us
Nice.
in, and Snapsight was wonderful. I mean, we were blown away by effectively it created a white paper almost instantly. Now,
Wow.
obviously, the idea is to have human in the loop. So we ended up using some of our people to edit it,
Of
but we
course.
quickly produced the white paper. I forget how many pages it was, Vamshi, but must have been like 15 pages
Yes. Yeah.
of amazing insights from that meeting. So that was like sold, right? Proof of concept.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we got started.
Nice. Okay, okay, okay. So, and at this meeting, you said like there were people in person in the meeting room and some people watching us virtually. So, Vamshi, like from a technical point of view, like how does that work? Like, how does Snapsight capture the content from both audiences?
Yeah. So this one was a particularly a tricky setup because typically when you deploy Snapsight and typical event, it will be a conference or a panel discussion. They are all mic'd up. But here, what is it? This is a group of people sitting in a room, and then there is a lot of crosstalk also. So that's why your typical AI transcription or translation will not work, because one person is talking and then one more person is talking on top of that. So then we have connected to the what is it, room audio. We have created two sessions, one for in person and the second one for virtual. So then we were able to, we do have a event level idea cloud also, so that captures your two sessions combined, right? So there we were able to
Mm.
showcase an idea cloud, showcasing multiple things there, as in like whatever the virtual people are speaking and in-person people are speaking. But then the real thing, because that's the first time we have actually tried it on a workshop kind of setting, lot of crosstalk, but then we were able to make sense out of it immediately. We were showing key takeaways and everything, but
Yeah.
we will not have a speaker name though. But then the final insights will make a lot of sense, and like Tom mentioned, immediately within a day or something we have turned it into the first draft of the white paper. Their whole team went through this, and then yeah, they have dropped their comments, and I know that those comments are minor comments here and there, but yeah, then yeah, that's how we got started.
Nice. Okay. So even if not everybody's in the same room and there are multiple sessions going on at the
Yeah.
same time, you are able to capture it and kind of combine the content from different sessions. I think that's pretty good. Pretty
Very
powerful, right? So
Yeah.
so from these smaller meetings that you use Snapsight for, now you also use it for the Future of Finance Summit. How big is that event?
So that event pushed like 165 people over 2 days. So yeah, lots of main stage sessions, breakouts, that type of thing. And again, it was we fed the audio feeds, I think, into Snapsight, and it did the same magic, right? It created, in this case, it's like a 30-page white paper, literally capturing all the major insights from speakers, from the attendees, like all of that stuff in the rooms. The and it just, again, amazing stuff. So I mean, this was just it also displayed live like word cloud
Mhm.
ideas from the group, as well as some of the key insights. So they could literally on their mobile click in and see some of that stuff as it was being created, which adds a whole nother, I think, element and connectivity piece to your content, right? And
Mhm.
that's what we really loved about it. So
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. And we actually got a sponsor. So we ended up helping to monetize it so we could pay for it, right, as part of the program.
Okay.
And that was really successful. We had a company we're now working with called Slalom, an IT company, and they ended up supporting us in that notion. And so we put their logo and a little bit about them on there, along with the Snapsight piece to
Mm.
recognize everybody who helped us do it. So it was pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah. So you put the logo on the Snapside image basically when people scan the QR code or show the link, and also for the white paper, right? You can put the
Yeah,
logo there as well. Yeah.
correct. Yep.
Nice. So that's a good monetization tip for everybody
Yeah,
listening and watching us right
you can
now.
like sell sponsorships to support the tool, right? And once you
Yeah.
do it successfully, and show them the white paper, because that gives them an artifact that stays around quite a while. I mean, that those white papers will be literally on our website, et cetera, for probably a year or two, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And for your audience, I guess it's important to have like these notes, right? I mean, that's why you're focusing a lot on creating white papers, reports from events. I guess that, it also always depends on the audience. Some people prefer to have the quick notes right away, and for you it's both, like your audience, they
Correct.
want it right away, but also in the long run, with a combination. Because how many sessions do you have at the Future of Finance Summit?
I'm gonna guess it was probably. What do you think, Vamshi? Maybe
A
10?
lot.
Yeah, I think it's more than 10. I
It
think it
might
will
be
be
more.
around like, yeah,
A lot.
15, 16, because we did uh,
Yeah, you
every
have morning,
day.
afternoon. Yeah, you're right. Might have been like 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's if you imagine a person sitting in the room capturing all of that, or watching the recordings afterwards, if you do record, it takes weeks. It's impossible. Um, so we mentioned the 2 events already. Like, do you have more events that you organize within your association?
We have lots of events we organize with our association, and we're now that we have these 2 proof of concepts, we're going to be using it more and more in more of our events, because at the end of the day, the content creation and the turnaround makes it so valuable, right, to
Mhm.
our attendees and to people that miss it. That's the other part, is now you have a legacy document that you can send to people that are in your community that maybe couldn't make that conference, and the people that attended, in this case, senior finance leaders, they were able to take it back to their teams and share what they did there, right? So instead of coming back saying, try to share my insight, which, is going to be like the last thing they remember. This case, they can say, here's the white paper. And, oh, by the way, I was, and I attended that session and this session, and here's some really key pullaways there. And, oh, by the way, here's all the other stuff that you might want to look at. So it just really gives them a compendium of all the stuff going on, right? I truly believe in the future of associations is co-creating content.
Mhm.
So what we're doing is we're working with this group and co-creating it for the benefit of our entire global profession.
Nice. So, because like, how do your sessions look like? Do you have workshops, panel discussions? Where do you get the input from the audience from?
So all of the above. I would say this event, the summit, right, had several keynotes, but every keynote is typically followed by a workshop. We try to get
Nice.
people working with the content right away. And then that includes report outs. We do polling. All of that collects a lot of that stuff. And then in their Q&A sessions, you start to get some of that wisdom from the group, right, with questions and comments that are coming from the audience. So that's pretty much how we do it. And then we had a couple panels. And so, we'll do all of those keynote, panel, work sessions, kind of all of that's the mixture that makes our Future Finance Summit rather unique and quite valuable. And so the whole Snapsight piece added a whole nother element of relevance to creating the content together and having real deep takeaways, not beyond just the people that were attending the conference.
I agree. Yeah. And we have a question here from Tom. Hi, Tom. He says, as a participant of the event, what benefits do I receive from your pro service? So I'm not sure if he means the Snapsight premium version or just generally using Snapsight. So we talked a lot about the capturing the content and receiving the takeaways immediately, and also the white paper, of course, very quickly after the event. Is there anything else, Vamshi or Tom, you want to add to the answer?
Yeah, I can mention about, yeah, I think he might be asking about Snapsight Premium. So
Okay.
that is
Yeah.
also something that we have just tried it out. So that is basically personalizing that content on a real-time basis, showing you what are the sentiments of different topics, and then what are the key trends from the summit right away. Like from the first day, let's say there are 7, 8 sessions. From those 8 sessions, you will be able to see that these are the key opportunities for you, and these are the key trends for you, and these are the sentiments as well. And I
Correct.
also wanted to talk about the report that we have created for future of finance, right? So like Tom mentioned, that is combination of, yes, we have captured all the sessions with Snapsight, and then we also got the data from polls, surveys that they have done and everything. So that combines everything so that this report becomes not just a session summary, but a combination of attendee insights as well as what speakers are saying and what agenda that they have curated. So that becomes a new kind of document
Mm.
that will become very valuable.
Nice. Okay, Tom, do you use the Snapsight premium function?
Actually, I did use that before we really got involved with him or doing our events. So I use it on an individual basis. Sometimes I'll get a good video feed or whatever that I can run in there and have it kind of give me the same kind of insights it does when we do it in a group setting. So it's still a valuable AI content tool to help you understand and kind of pull out the
Yeah.
big stuff in a video or whatever. So or PDF. So I love it, and I use that individually in addition to what we're doing with Vamshi on the more organizational level.
Nice. And Jill has another question. She's asking, how do the attendees see the real-time summaries display on a screen or in a mobile app? Vamshi, do you want to say
Yeah,
something?
so there are two ways to that. Yes, one immediately after each session, they will be showing a presentation screen. That is where your sponsor logo is also there, and then there's a QR code. So your attendees, they can scan the QR code, and then the same link, when you scan a QR code, you will be getting an attendee link, right? So that is a link we are actually putting in a mobile application also. So you don't need a tighter integration API or something. You can just put in that link in a mobile application. So your attendees, they can go into the mobile application, see takeaways, or they can scan the QR code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So, and Tom, like a more general question, how is AI used in the finance industry? I wanted to use the chance now that we have a finance expert here.
Yeah.
Tell us some insights.
Well, I mean, interesting you say that because I'm up here in our New York headquarters for a AI symposium we just finished.
Okay.
And so we had a lot of things about finance, future, CPA, public accounting as well. And I would say the biggest thing is, so the big thing on the horizon right now is AI agents. That
Mm-hmm.
was a big buzz about how fast that's coming on board. But I would say right now that finance teams are using it in several important ways. Obviously, it's getting baked into a lot of the technology they already use, their ERPs and EPMs, et cetera. But I think the big ones are anomaly detection, to look for fraud or abuse type things inside of transaction level, to help them summarize and synthesize, just like we're using it for this meeting, our meetings. It's an amazing, powerful summarization, synthesis, analysis tool. So those are probably the top three use cases we see in finance. Um, and again, this one was opening everyone's eyes to this whole idea of using it for content creation, which I think has just been, it was amazing. We loved what we got out of it, and we're continuing to work more with Vamshi and his team.
That's great to hear. Are there any other AI tools that you use in your association, like in
So
your
we're
like? Mhm,
Yeah, we're a Microsoft shop, so we have Copilot, and
mhm,
we build some. We just released a custom tool that looks at professional standards, like a chatbot. It's called Project Gemstone. That was actually at that summit. Um, so that allows people to go chat with all the accounting standards and find out, how I recognize revenue here. What do I need to quote in my footnotes? So that's exciting. That will be bringing to market, and that's worked on the Microsoft platform with us. Personally, I also use ChatGPT in a private edition,
mhm.
a little bit of Google Gemini, et cetera. So yeah, I've got four
Nice.
or five tools that I like in my arsenal.
Yeah,
So yeah, we're a fan of AI and the power of it,
yeah,
especially for trying to create what's the future of finance and accounting look like. This is the perfect application to help us do that because we value the kind of wisdom of the crowd, if you will, which is our membership. And so this is a way to
I
engage
agree.
our membership in a way that they get to help us create that content.
I agree. Yeah, great. Thanks a lot, Tom, for sharing those insights. Vamshi, like now we're coming towards the end of this talk. Is there anything else you want to share about Snapside? Any news? Any updates?
Yeah, sure. Definitely. This is something that I was discussing with Tom as well. And I do have one more question to Tom, but yeah,
Okay,
let's talk
go
about
ahead.
a few updates that we have been cooking. My team was working over like this quarter. We have done a lot of updates. Especially, we are seeing that Snapchat is being deployed in larger and larger events. So we know that we have to support that. So that from an audio feed point of view, from an admin experience point of view, we have done a lot of updates there. And one of the big thing that we are releasing, and I think this is something that we'll be using in some of the events, is also that we are doing live transcription and translation. So Snapsight becomes your one-stop shop if you want live text, translation into anything, and then key takeaway summaries, of course. This is something we have done industry best this time. We are supporting 75 languages. So
Wow.
if you are, yeah, if you want takeaways, or if your attendees or if your speakers are speaking in any of these 75 languages, we'll be able to capture that content. So yeah, that's
Exciting.
a quick update. Yes. Yeah. And
Nice.
then one question that I have for Tom is that how do you see what do you say these associations using AI in different applications as well? Like, because there is a lot to managing an association, right? So where do you see the potential of AI in there?
I mean, I think we already have it integrated into a lot of the things we're doing on the learning side in terms of creating the content that CPAs and CGMAs need to stay current. We're obviously trying to train our members on the use of it so that that's part of what we're doing with this future finance initiative. Same thing on the public accounting side. The AI Symposium is another example of that. So I think we're trying to, drink our own champagne, that we think this is a game changer for our profession.
Yeah.
Therefore, we need to be using it in some of those key ways. So that's why we obviously looked at this with you guys, and obviously the Microsoft Copilot notion, and the platform, which gives us the Azure platform, which gives us the private instance to start creating our own custom GPTs, which is what we're working on. Slalom, or the one that we're doing with Slalom or Gemstone, is our very first trying that approach. So yeah, stay tuned for even more stuff as we kind of get the whole association into this
Nice.
exciting future.
And who's working on that? Like your IT team, or like
It's
who's yeah.
cross-functional. We have an AI strategy group that crosses the
Mm,
entire association, creating a governance model, looking at risks, all those things. Because we're global, it gets trickier because of all the data requirement and new legislation coming out all over the world. So we're carefully monitoring that. And then clearly we've got IT as our internal experts. So we're trying to teach some of our IT folks to really understand this technology, and at the same time partnering with other vendors to help us get moving on it, not unlike what we're doing here with Vamshi and Snapsight.
great. And Jill has a question. She's asking, what's the average size of the event you're working on, like in terms of attendee numbers?
I mean, the first batch we did was about 30 in person in Raleigh Durham. The Future of Finance Summit was about 165, almost 170, and we're hoping to grow that. And then we've got events all over the place that we could think about using this for. So I think we're very bullish on using this in lots and lots more applications now that we've got these two kind of proof of concepts
Yeah.
that really worked well.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Vamshi, any other questions or comments?
No, I think that should be it from our side. From my side also, it is always a pleasure to work with Tom. Like you already saw when you ask him what AI tools he used, he said ChatGPT, Gemini, and everything. So people, when you hear that maybe around 3-4 months back, then you see that okay, this is a group of people who are actually trying to see where is the value in this. Yes,
Mhm.
there'll be definitely some problems here and there, but I think there is a lot of value that we can see here. And we are also actually trying to deploy Snapsight in very large events. Let's say Tech Week Singapore, for example, like they had 350 sessions. So even a very well-intentioned attendee, they'll not be able to go to more than 20 sessions. So
Right.
Yeah.
that's when you start combining these and creating different pieces of content instead of asking them to go back and watch 300 hours of video. So that's when we are creating new possibilities in here. And then yeah, we have just gotten started. Yeah.
Yeah. And Xenia is saying, to reply to Jill, that they have used it for the ICA Congress, which we all know, with over 1,000 attendees. Like, Vamshi, I'm curious, like, what has been the biggest event that you have used Snapsight for in terms of attendee numbers?
Yeah, biggest event should be ATX Singapore and Tech Week Singapore, where they had around like more than 15,000 attendees. And then there is obviously IMEX America, and then IMEX Frankfurt, where they also have attendees in terms of thousands. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No limits.
no limits, no
Great.
limits. And then uh, what is it? There was one event where we were asked to create a summary of 200 sessions. So that was my biggest one when we started looking into it. Okay, the previous approach that we are going to do, he's not going to work out. We need to come up with a new approach. So Tom also likes to give me a lot of challenges, and then there are some exciting projects that we are going to work as well. So definitely challenging us in the way that we can grow.
We like challenges. That's good. Tom, go continue giving Vamshi challenges. That's great.
We
And
will.
Sunny from the team is saying 25,000. So well done. That's great. Impressive numbers here. All right. We came to the end of this stream. So everybody, thanks a lot for watching us. Have a look at the past streams that we've done. Also, we did an introduction to Snapsight with Anand, where we explained a little bit like what Snapsight really is and how it works. So maybe Jill, that's something for you. If you have more, need more information on how to display it to attendees and so on, make sure to follow up Snapsight on Instagram and LinkedIn to receive updates and see where they are right now. Of course, I will be at IMEX Frankfurt, and I hope to also see everybody there. So with that, Tom, thanks a lot for your time, and enjoy the day in New York. And Vamshi, thanks a lot for your time as well. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Have a great one. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye.